It's just gone lunchtime. This is all angles here on ENCA. Good afternoon. I'm Masego Rahlaga. So it is that time of the day when we give you an update on how far some of the stories we've been following for you throughout the course of the day have advanced. Here's your lunchtime update. Our reporters have been out and about bringing us the latest news on our top stories. We have Pule Lichwiti Jones in Johannesburg, Ngobile Madlala in Durban, and Aisha Ishmael is in Cape Town for us. All right, Pule, let's start with you. The city of Joburg has yet another mayor since last week, but the current mayor's actions are in question as he is being accused of cheating people of their monies. What's the DA saying about this?
Definitely. The DA says it's not going to be taking these allegations quite lightly. In fact, they will be accompanying the victims to the police stations where they will then be opening their cases. And we spoke to the former mayor of Johannesburg, Mpho, who says that she received some of these allegations from Friday evening, just hours after the mayor had been elected, and decided that she'll act upon these allegations and try to assist some of those who have been allegedly scammed of their monies and who are sort of like swindled into investing their monies into an entity which would promise them to get better fortunes, of course, after having invested. But that has not been the case. We understand some of these cases stem from as far as 2015. However, we did give Al Jama'ah the right of response, and they think that this is just politicking from the DEA, and they're questioning the timing of them having to expose these allegations. But also, I've been on the search for some of those who are alleged to have scammed. I spoke to one lady who says she was aware of this entity, which of course approached her a few years back, but she refused to enter into this entity. And she knows about a group of other women who also were allegedly scammed by Itemba Lama Africa. I also did offer rights of response to the current mayor, Kabelo Kwamanda, since yesterday, and he hasn't responded. But let's just take a listen, Masego, to what the Democratic Alliance is saying about this matter in terms of ensuring that heads roll.
This has nothing to do with politics. In fact, I congratulated the mayor after his election. We had a chat. He can confirm this. I have nothing against him as a person. But when community members say we've invested so much of our money into a scheme and we never got any returns, that is a matter of concern. When somebody is an executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg, they have to answer as to whether or not there's any truth to these allegations. And if they owe people money, they must pay them their money. But also they must be looked at as to whether they're fit for purpose or not.
Now, Aisha, you attended the parliamentary inquiry into the public protector's fitness to hold office today. It is resuming after a couple of weeks of nothing because of the fact that her legal team was not paid. What has she said so far today?
Well, the suspended public protector was present at the inquiry this morning, and that matter has now been postponed until next Monday because the public protector did not have her legal representatives present in court. There's still an issue of money. Now, you will recall that this matter was postponed for about a month in order for the suspended public protector to sort out her legal representation woes, and particularly the whole question about funding. There's been talk about funding having exceeded 26 million rand so far. A number of members of parliament raised this issue, saying that this can't go on. We can't spend taxpayers' money on this process. The public protector, of course, says that she was not the one who started this process, and she's saying that it is now up to the public protector of South Africa, the Office of the Public Protector, to sort out the funding matter. Now, we did hear that about 4.5 million rand has now been made available. It would appear as if that amount is not suitable and not enough. But this is what the suspended public protector, Busisi Mkhwebane, had to say to me after the matter was adjourned earlier this morning.
The specialist in the field, which is the accounting officer, will have to sit down with the attorney and determine the process and how much and the costing of that process. Secondly, It's so unfortunate that the chairperson just bulldozes the process and just say next week there's no discussion. I hope the chairperson will avail the secretariat and the legal team of parliament to be in the process and engage Public Protector South Africa so that we are then deliberating on these matters, or they deliberate on these matters. I choose an attorney if it's Sianeho, and who is counsel available. It will depend whether Sianeho is still available. Remember, they are not on a retainer. It will depend whether the senior counsel is available and the other juniors on that day, because they are also not on retainer. They've got their work. They have to feed their families. So I think it needs to be a process which is fair and reasonable, because they are just rushing on the time frame, forgetting that they are trampling on my rights.
All right, Ngobile, and you were in court today, and that court proceedings for the murder case of Sindiso Makaka has been postponed. That happened this morning. Cross-examination for the bodyguard, Tobaonwe Ngubane, had to be concluded or has been concluded. Can you tell us more about today's proceedings and why the postponement once again?
Well, Masejo, yes, they did cross-examine the bodyguard Tsagabonwa Mbomvu Ngubane. He was already started being cross-examined on Friday last week, but continued today as defense didn't have enough time with him. You'll remember that there are two advocates that are also cross-examining him from the side of the accused. But today what we have heard is we saw defense just zoom in a little closer in terms of his relationship with the deceased, which would be Usindiso Makaka, in terms of where exactly was he, asking him details like, did he hear who exactly asked to go buy food? Does he know what was being bought? Did he see the kind of plastic that was used and so on, and how many were there, and who were these people, where did they buy? So all those details, just zooming in closer in terms of what was going on. The red BMW as well, which we understand at this point that they are suspecting that's where the hitmen were. We understand that also the deceased did say that that red BMW was suspicious, and even went on to say that if there were hitmen that were on that BMW, then they'd rather continue shooting at him. But then if you look at that now, they were moving, zooming a bit closer in terms of how did he see it was a red BMW? What number plates did it have? Where did he see it? Where exactly around the area where they live, as well as at the car wash, did he see it? And we do remember that he did highlight that it did drive off at some point when they parked. And so when he was asked to go to the shops, the red BMW was not there. But he later found out from this van that they bumped to that there was shooting that took place. And that's when he arrived on the scene, meaning that he was not there when it all took place. However, the defense just wanting to find out in terms of what sort of information he's got, as well as Gora coming up. Now, you'll remember that Gora is a name that has also been highlighted for quite some time. We do understand that he is at this point a fifth suspect, but we do know that he passed away. His name coming out as well in terms of how did he know who was this? Had he ever had a relationship with this gentleman, which we now know that he comes from Hammersdale. So quite a lot of zooming in closer. But what was even more interesting is that defense even took it as far as personal. And this is where they went on to ask him about the number of even people that he was currently in a relationship with in terms of courtship, as well as going as deep as understanding where exactly where the girlfriend that he said he had gone to see, where does she live, where they were and when they saw the BMW. So quite a lot leading into exactly what is going on and just finding the details. But of course we do know that Tsagabonwa Ngubane has concluded his side, and we do know that defense State has already said that they had somebody that was going to take the stand, but unfortunately that person then cancelled, so they will continue tomorrow.
All right, thank you very much. That was your ENCA lunchtime update from all angles with reporters Ngobile Madlala, Aisha Ishmael and Bule Lichwiti Jones.